Hello everybody, hola a todos. I'm Miss Ella, and in this tutorial, I will be guiding you through the process of creating your family reading ritual. This tutorial is inspired by the blog post, Create Your Family Reading Ritual. You will find a link to that post in the description below. With this video, I want to add an additional resource to the original post. As a reading advocate, I do feel a vested interest in your development as a reading family. I really want you to give this family reading ritual a try, feel motivated, inspired, and empowered to do it. So today I will go through the whole process with you. If you have any questions about steps and ideas I'm suggesting, please leave them in a comment below. Thank you. Now, without further ado, ahora sin más preámbulos, let's start with our why. Why do we want to create a reading ritual? As I mentioned in the original post, a ritual is a way of doing something that is different and unique. Most importantly, for our early or emerging readers, it's a way to create consistency and routine. The reason why we want to think about our reading time as a ritual is so we set the tone and make it a specific and special part of our day or our week. Unplanned, unstructured, and spontaneous reading time can and should be part of a child's and a family's day and week, but we shouldn't rely on those moments alone. We communicate the importance of reading to all members of the family by carving a time and space for it intentionally. So, what would a reading ritual as a family provide? A reading ritual will set the foundations for a routine. It will help make reading a specific and important part of the day or the week. It will provide an opportunity to come together as a family, calm our bodies, and focus our minds on an enriching and fun activity. Why do we want to set this reading ritual as a family? Having parents, young children, and older siblings read together is a great way to model and support each other at their different levels of reading proficiency. Setting this special activity as a family and getting everyone involved is a good opportunity to engage in meaningful conversations, creative thinking, and problem solving. What could reading time look like? Well, reading time could mean independent reading, group reading, reading aloud, story time. The format could also change day by day or week by week to make the experience varied and even richer. For individual reading, you might set a time at the end to share insights or the moral of the story, for example. Group reading may involve having a brief discussion, sort of like a book club. And for story time, it might be fun to pick a theme for the week. Again, the planning stage would open wonderful conversations around books and stories we like and would like to read, listen to, or learn more about. The creative stage should allow all members of the family to contribute a special element or idea to the ritual. Now, let's get to the how. How can you create your family reading ritual? What I'm offering you are 5 steps to inspire you and get you started. Together, we'll go over all the steps. Then I will offer additional ideas and brief examples of what it could look like. Here's an overview. Step 1, propose the idea and get everybody on board. Step 2, get everyone together to brainstorm. Step 3, look together for some inspiration. Step 4, set up your ritual and write it down. Step 5, be flexible, adjust, and enhance. Now, let's look at each step in more detail. Step 1, propose the idea and get everybody on board. The first step to make this ritual successful is, of course, to bring it to everyone's attention and get them motivated to participate. You, as the parent or caretaker, must be excited first to transmit that level of excitement to your children and other family members. You should also be the first to commit to making it work. Having the buy-in of other members of the family, and especially the children, will make all the difference. Step 2. Get everyone together to brainstorm. A great way to make everyone excited is to involve them in the creative process. As I mentioned earlier, having children bring ideas and special elements to the ritual will give them a sense of ownership. It will make the process fun and engaging and give them an opportunity to contribute to the family. The first item that could be discussed could be the location where the reading ritual will take place. If you don't already have a reading area or reading corner somewhere in your home, this would be the perfect time to set it up. Step 3. Look together for some inspiration. You can look for inspiration online. Actually, in the original post, you will find links to a few great articles with the reading and family ritual ideas. Of course, children will come up with creative and interesting things and ideas all on their own, but this will be a good time to integrate technology in the search for inspiration. I said it before, but I must say it again. Everyone should be allowed and encouraged to contribute a key piece or element of their reading ritual. Personal contributions are what gets us invested in a project and give it meaning. Step 4. Set up your ritual and write it down. Once you have your reading ritual planned out, set it in writing. This will make it official. Together, you can create a poster with all the steps or the flow of your ritual and display it in your reading area for reference. If you have it, you could also use a whiteboard or a chalkboard. Having a visual reference will serve as a daily reminder and will help new family members or friends who might want to join later. And step 5, be flexible, adjust, and enhance. As with everything else in life, we must remain flexible, adaptable, and curious. Keep checking in with everybody, including yourself, and ask for feedback. It will be a great idea to rotate the checker role among you to give younger members of the family an opportunity to take the lead. You may ask, are we having fun and enjoying our reading or story time ritual? Is there something we could change or add? You could also incorporate a writing element by setting up a suggestions box, maybe with some pieces of recycled paper and crayons. Now that we've thought about the very basic steps to set up our reading ritual, let's explore some ideas to help organize the actual components of the reading ritual. These are the main things to keep in mind while you're going through steps 2 and 3. So the brainstorming stage and the inspiration gathering stage. Time and frequency. Ask everyone the question, what would be the ideal time and days for us to get together and read or share a story? I'm suggesting a daily, weekly, or even bi-weekly reading ritual, but the frequency will depend entirely on all of you. Your school, work, extracurricular activities. So, to set yourselves up for success from the start, you must take into consideration your schedules, your responsibilities to make it work for your family. However, as a caveat, A monthly reading ritual might be too far apart to really allow for the consistency and routine that we're looking for, especially when we have early or emerging readers in the family. That's something to keep in mind. An example of this might be we are going to meet in the living room after dinner on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. We are going to read one story aloud on Sundays and pick our own book to read for the week that follows. And we are going to block 30 minutes for this reading ritual. Let me show you how that might look like right here. So as you can see, here we decided our reading ritual is going to happen after dinner. It's going to happen on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. It's going to be for 30 minutes. We're going to do some independent reading on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then on Sundays, we're going to have story time. We're going to come together for story time, and we're going to pick the book that we're going to read on the following week. All right? Now, place. Ask everyone the question, where will be the ideal space to have our family reading ritual? If you already have a reading area or a reading corner, this might be a good time to improve it, make it cozier. The idea is to have everybody sharing a common space, not to spread out around the house or in their rooms. In a shared space, we can model best reading practices, motivate and support one another, and that's what we're aiming for. Senses and mood. Ask everybody, what elements can we incorporate to make our reading ritual special? Some ideas might be using a scented candle or diffuser with a calming scent, using a meditation or other type of small bell to invite people to gather. Put on some soft music or relaxing ambient sounds. Prepare and share a special drink like a soothing tea to enjoy while we read. So an example of this might be we will ring the small meditation bell and invite everybody to gather around the big sofa in the living room. Someone will light up the lavender scented candle and turn on the soft ambient music, forest sounds, and we'll all take 3 deep and slow breaths, and we'll gather our books from the reading basket, grab our pillows, and sit comfortably around on and around the sofa. So in that example, we've decided we'll be using a meditation bell. We are going to have a lavender scented candle, soft music, and we're going to engage in mindful breathing. We also know our reading area will be the living room, and we are going to have a basket where the books or reading materials are going to be stored. And we'll also have a stack of pillows next to the basket in case someone wants to use one for extra comfort. Modality. This simply means the format for the activity. Are we going to read independently, as a group, aloud? Are we going to read stories from a selection of books or comic books or magazines? Or are we going to share an oral story from memory? You may choose to switch between these options daily or weekly. An example will be every week we'll have a day for story time, and each of us will get to share a story we know, or we'll read from a favorite book. Every other day we'll read in silence. We can propose a discussion of what we are all reading at the end of the week as well. So again, if we go back to our example, we are going to have our story time on Sundays, And Tuesdays and Thursdays is going to be independent silent reading. And maybe after story time and before we pick our next book or reading material, we are going to have a bit of a discussion about what we are all reading. Right? If we have an early reader that needs support, a more advanced reader could partner with him or her to read together. I remember I used to do that with a young cousin, and those are some of my most treasured memories around reading and books. I believe that also led me into teaching, so it was a wonderful experience. Now, theme. This is where you decide what you're going to read. Are you going to read books or tell stories about a special seasonal theme or pick from a list of favorite subjects? Weekly themes could be chosen by a different member of the family every week. Be prepared for out-of-the-box suggestions from young readers and do validate and don't shy away from the challenge. I love seasonal themes because they allow you to introduce children to new subjects to add to their favorites. As an example, let's say this month we are going to be reading our books of choice, and every Sunday we'll read aloud or tell a story about spring, the spring season, in preparation for Easter celebration. In terms of reading materials, I just want to clarify, they don't have to be only fiction books. In our reading basket, each member of the family can have any reading material of their choice, fiction, non-fiction, from their favorite subject or genre, comic books, graphic novels, magazines, even newspapers. For this family reading ritual, I'm recommending physical reading materials. However, remember step 5, remain open and flexible to all reading preferences. Especially in the beginning, our aim is for everybody to want to participate. So if we go back to our example, independent reading can be anything that person has chosen to read during that week. And in this example about theme, on Sundays, we are going to be telling story about the spring season in preparation for Easter celebration, and this is going to vary week by week or month by month according to what you all decide you want to do. You may also want to think about and plan your family reading ritual, blocking the time and the activities as before, during, and after. How are you going to get the reading or story time started? That's before. What is going to happen as we read or listen? That's during. And how are we going to close or end that special time together? That's after. So let's look into each of those individual blocks to see how they might look like. Before, tidy up the reading space. Prepare tea or light up a candle. Turn on soft music. Invite the bell to sound to call everybody to gather. Pick up your book and pillow and find a comfortable place to sit. Take 3 full, deep, and long breaths. And that's how the ritual starts. Now, during, we read in silence, aloud, or share a story according to the modality chosen for the day or the week. We have a timer or we have someone responsible to check the time and sound the bell when the set time for the reading ritual has ended. I do have 2 important points to add here about respect. We want to show respect for the reading time of all readers, including ourselves. If you must get up to use the bathroom, get yourself some water, do it without causing too much disruption or movement. Also, it's another sign of respect to silence all phones and leave them a few feet away from the reading area. Those are just two ways to add to the special tone of the reading ritual. Now, after. Once the bell sounds again, signaling the end of the reading ritual, everybody who is ready should start getting up and putting pillows and books away. The music might stay on for a little while longer, while candles and teacups, everything is cleared away. Finally, taking 3 full and deep, slow breaths, we can give thanks for another wonderful reading ritual, and that's how our ritual ends. Here's a visual example of a weekly calendar organized as before, during, and after. Following what we had established in the example I shared earlier, as you can see here, for 30 minutes, this will be the flow of our reading ritual. Your weekly calendar could also include a space to add what everyone is currently reading, as well as favorite words, phrases, or quotes from the books or stories. You may, of course, support emerging writers to add their words to the list. So as you can see here, instead of using days of the week, we are blocking the time as before, during, and after. And the list below shows all the activities that we are going to be doing before we start reading ritual, during the time we are all reading or telling a story, sharing a story, and then everything we're going to do to close or end our ritual. I hope this brief tutorial showed you why and how to create your family reading ritual. I hope you feel motivated to get started and create your version of it. I do believe this activity and the time we take to plan, create, and experience the reading ritual is worth it. It can be engaging, fun, and rewarding for all members of the family. I want to commend you for wanting to give this a try and for seeing the value that creating a reading ritual will add to your family and to your family dynamic. And not just the academic reading and writing success of your children, but their growing love of reading, writing, and learning, and expanding their cultural horizons together with the people they love most. I will close our time together with this beautiful and inspiring quote by children's book author Mem Fox. When I say to a parent, read to a child, I don't want it to sound like medicine. I want it to sound like chocolate. I'm Miss Ella, and it was great having you here today. Until next time, hasta la próxima.